Recording in progress.
Okay, welcome everybody to the February edition of the West Side Computer Club. I'd like to welcome everybody and tell you guys that our format will be different tonight. We're going to go right into our presentation by Terry, and then after his presentation, we will do an open forum, and then I've got a wrap up of a relatively short presentation about the wii-u that I use for balance purposes, for balance exercises. So with that being said, I will turn the floor over to Terry. And you can go ahead and start doing your thing, Terry.
Sanford, I got the PowerPoint up on my screen now. How do I do the share chat thing or whatever?
Okay, if you go down to the bottom of your screen where in Zoom, it'll say share screen. It's a green icon in the middle on the bottom.
I got the problem is my my PowerPoint's taking up the whole screen.
Well, put Zoom. Is Zoom on your screen too? Or are we just a little guy up in the corner? A little box.
Let's see. I got it.
Minimize your PowerPoint.
Oh, okay, I did that. Yeah. And then,
did Zoom pop up?
Yeah, I Zoom's in the background here.
Okay, then you Alt-Tab to bring it to the foreground.
Let me all right. Share screen. All right, I did the share screen. Now I gotta get the now I gotta get the PowerPoint.
So you do share screen.
I got that.
Okay, and then what's going to pop up will be all your windows you have open. Choose your PowerPoint.
Ah, there it is.
And click on that. There you go. We now see your PowerPoint.
All right, guys. Okay, what's new for 22? I kind of go through some of the stuff. I just highlighted. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Some of these are just. I'll just put from standard reductions. Everything went up, 5% over last year. Nothing new here. Except on child tax credit, they do used to get $2,000 for everybody. Now they just $2,000 for the adults and $500 for the kids and grandparents or whatever. That's new. Some of the deferrals, a little bit. You're allowed to put more in on some of the retirement plans. Now, the big thing this year is, especially for our age group, is that RMD required minimum distributions, 401ks, IRAs, everything. So I want to talk a little about some of this. RMD is the amount, or required minimum distribution. RMD is the amount participant of qualified retirement plan must withdraw from his account annually over the course of the life expectancy after required beginning date.
Which is what?
Well, we'll talk about that. Obviously, date of death is obviously one of them, but the other ones are, can be elected to when you started. And there, you'll see, well, we get later, there are going to be some life expectancy and distribution tables in the IRS. We'll talk about it. All right. So failure to take, a lot of our clients, most of them don't understand RMD anyway, and they're confused. And then they're getting slapped with 50% penalties for not taking out any money or all or not enough. And it's a big, RMD is a big issue with a lot of our clients. Failure to take RMDs for a year will result in penalties. RMD rules apply to all types of qualified retirement plans. And IRAs, 401k, or the others, the government, teachers, whatever. RMD rules vary depending whether distributions begin before or after the employee's death. Distributions made to participants must satisfy RMD rules each calendar year. RMD for a particular year is equal to the participant's account balance as of the end of the prior year divided by the appropriate distribution period. A 10-year rule applies, replaces life expectancy for designated beneficiaries. So the
Unless it's the spouse.
you designate a beneficiary.
Unless it's the
50%
spouse.
excise tax is imposed on plan participant who does not take RMD, especially any or the actual takeout is not above the required amount, and this is going to be a lot of money. Some of these people have several $100,000 in these funds, and they're basically got to take out 10%. And there are IRS life expectancy distribution tables that lays out the number of years, and you can calculate your life expectancy. Most of them seem to be like 10 years, because now a lot of them start at 72 and they go to 82, and they also on 401ks now, they do have hardship distribution, not in IRS, but they do have 401k hardship distributions. You become disabled or whatever. Yeah, and then also some our club members. If you've got parents living with you, or you may be able to take them as independents. A lot of people don't. They find out, oh, I could take grandma or whatever as independent. Yes, if you live with you for a half a year, or if they're some foreigner parents, if you support, they have no money and you're supporting them, and you're paying over half of their expenses. They have no income or whatever, especially the old Soviet Union or whatever, and you're sending money over there so that they can live. You can go ahead and take those as dependents. So that's they're getting liberal on that. What is RMD is a big thing with the government. Yeah, and because that's big money, and they watch. I mean, they're a real tough one. And most of your retirement plans are banks and insurance companies, whatever, and there should be sending forms or follow up, but a lot of people just ignore them, and then they get clobbered. And 50% penalties. You're giving away a lot of your hard-earned money to the government, and they'll take it. I think are pretty well covered. I think they want to cover IMDs because so are our clients. Really have a problem, and they don't understand it either. I think let's see if I got. I got everything covered, yeah, all right. On this slide, yeah, let me go down. Go down. All right, there we go. I got another couple ones. Let me go up and
You
get-
stop sharing. Terry, you stop sharing.
Yeah, let me go. Here comes, yeah, another one. Let me see. I got another two here.
Terry, you stop sharing.
Yeah, I know. You're right. You're absolutely right. I got to, oh. Let me down this, and let me down this. I think this will do it. Yeah. Oh, got it. I'm learning. I'm learning. Never too old to learn. Okay. Yeah. Some of the other stuff. Individual. I mentioned 112. The 500. I got that one. I like the pearls on this one. Okay, and then I got one little bit from last time. It's here. Should be here somewhere. 22. I think that one is. Don't. I think this is the one. Yeah, okay, a little bit just from last time. In crypto, a lot of our clients really getting clobbered. I'll tell you, the other thing we're seeing is that these crypto companies are putting other people transactions on your statements. And so I got a guy, he did Robinhood, he thought he was break even. He had like 50,000 gain or whatever. Robinhood put $50,000 worth of gain transactions on his statement at the year end. And, and of course, the IRS is going to go after him. I'm thinking, oh, you made 50 grand, and trying to go to Robinhood and tell him to straighten it out. Real difficult who you talk to, and so he's on the hook for 50,000 in transactions that they never made. He says, and so we're gonna have to write a letter to the IRS, and I'm denying all this. So be careful. You're doing crypto. Pretty much income tax rates, basically kind of the same. I did this for last year, but this is how the rates are figured. Base, and then if you're over the base, like you pay $1,900 on the first 80,000, and then you pay 12% over everything over 19,000 or more over over the previous 19 here. You pay, it's layered, so. When you have a base, and then you take the percentage time the increase in the base. Some of those credits, say child credit, earned credit, dependent care credit, American Opportunity Credit, great. You got kids in college or whatever, or grad school or whatever, terrific. IRAs, of course, Roth, rollovers now. Oh boy. Be careful on rollovers. And then the real estate, yeah, a lot of people, they get burned on that because they can afford to have the rental properties. And then and they got losses. Of course, they get into the rental realty to have losses. And then they find out because their other income is over 150,000, they can't deduct the losses, and they mad. And the way real estate is right now, real estate, there's no inventory. I mean, it's 8% interest rates, and there's just no inventory. So I tell you, it's a really tough market, and that's what the government wants. They said, well, to fight inflation, real estate and mortgage interests are going to take a beating, and they sure are. All right, so return dates, they haven't changed. Partnerships, LLCs, individual C corps, trusts, nonprofits, and you have your September, October extensions. Okay, standard deductions, and they still have the 10% tax, 10,000 max on state, what they call it, SALT, state and local tax. Now this includes your state withholding and your real estate taxes. So most people are well over the $10,000 floor. They don't realize that your state withholding taxes are in there too, and puts you way over. On capital gain rates, 15–20%. If you're a business for yourself, the section qualified business income, that caps out. That's a nice deduction. And the reason is it's to balance business income rates, business tax rates with individual tax rates. Nice deduction. It's a really nice deduction we've seen out of that. The standard mileage went up. Right now it's per mile. It's per 6 months. It's 58.5 per mile cents, and the last 6 months is 62.5%, 0.5% mile, which is nice. So it was like 50 something, I think, last year. Wage base went up. They're taking the Social Security out up to, it was 134 last year, and then now it's 147. They upped you take more out of, you take higher out of your SEP, or the blind copyright, and then you can take, you can make higher contributions on your tax or deductions on your tax returns for those. And then on your 401k and IRAs, they allow you to take more deductions, which is good. Let's see. Let's go down. The other thing I talked about was, for those of you with foreign accounts, be careful. You got Cayman Islands and all that, you got France or whatever. You got far better foreign bank accounts. You got to report that stuff. The form 8938, and they get real nasty. They get real nasty over this stuff. If you got over 10,000 cash or cash equivalent securities, you got to file a form. Thresholds, you got to attach a form to your 1040. Now that I think they'll let you file it separately, you used to have to attach it. I think you can file it separately. You got foreign bank accounting, foreign bank account reporting, non-compliance, nasty penalties. And if you get on their shit list, it's hard to get off it. So if you're doing foreign stuff, comply. Don't get, you're asking for trouble. Just, of course, they still got the net investment thing. If you got over that, there's additional tax. No, either is over 400,000 K. Yeah. One end of the employee retention credit. Well, they're still finishing up on that a little bit. Well, it was for 2021 COVID. And some are still filing for it, but it has to be previous quarters in 2021. They do, well, they were going to say over 600 transfers, but Congress didn't like that. So they, but all cash transfers out of, are reported by the banks to the IRS. I would see a lot of clients that do all their transfers at 9,000 because they don't want a whole bunch of transfers over 10,000. They do, these are all recorded, especially if you have a few, but if you got a bunch of them, they may want to take a look at you. The unemployment base exclusion, that's gone. Additional child tax credit, that's still in. I think it's still 3,000. I'm gonna look for I don't remember. And then the care allowance, that's good, especially with divorces and all this stuff. I mean, all this stuff is really good. And then advanced tax credit, anyway. Well, I think that's gone. That was COVID and CTC payments. Well, that's a child tax credit. That was for that's gone with COVID. But now here it's coming. COVID is coming back. It's a problem. I've seen a lot of people in office buildings walking around with masks on now. So so. I don't know if this is the last screen or not. Oh, yeah, I guess one more. Okay, to review, I got to throw some computer stuff in. Some other forms, ATX, we use ATX. We like it. You type in just like you're doing it in pencil. It's great. CTS Ultra Tax, it converts right from the accounting software to the tax. It's okay. Intuit Pro Series, okay. CCH Pro System, very difficult to use. I recommend Intuit Pro over CCS Pro. And let's see, I think there maybe is one more. Oh yeah, individual. The cheap one is Turbo. I'm not sure the price, but anyway, problem is with Turbo. Well, they used to decide where they ask you questions, but somebody said no. It's kind of like the others now. It'll let you put where it's supposed to be. H&R Block, pretty reliable. A lot of people use it. It's not bad. Tax Act, which now they're really advertising Tax Act all over the television, but they guarantee you're going to get a maximum refund possible. So I don't believe that, but anyway, that's what they're advertising. So, and I think that about does it. If you guys got any questions or corrections for me, I'm open for discussion.
I have a couple comments.
Sure.
Number one, with the market down the way it's been lately, if anybody's thinking about doing an IRA to Roth conversion, you have to do your IRA minimum requirement first before you do the Roth conversion. Otherwise, you're in trouble. That's true.
Yeah,
The second thing is, if you're gonna do a transfer from one account to another, you never do it, you never take the cash. You do the transfers direct from one fund to the other fund.
well, no, you're right. Yeah, so because people, yeah, there's a time limit on that. People
That's right.
forget. And also, yeah.
And you can only do it once a year.
You mean from one fund to another? Or,
Yep.
well, I mean, let's say you've got several funds, I don't know,
If you're trying to consolidate from several different accounts into one, you don't want to take it in cash, because number one, you have a 90-day time limit. Number two, you can only do that once a year. So if you do it twice, they're gonna hit you.
I got you. Yeah, 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 I'm not gonna argue. Yeah, I know you're right on that. Yeah, the problem I have is people take it out and they forget to roll it over, and they intend to, and then they get hammered because all of a sudden it's a taxable event. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's all.
Well, good luck, guys. Tax season is here, and we're all in the same boat. That's for sure. Yeah.
Hey, you want to stop sharing your screen?
Yeah. All right. How do I? Oh, it says stop share. Get that button. All right. Well, thank you for paying attention, gentlemen. I'm going to go rest my gout foot, and I'll see some of you guys at the other meetings, or I'll see you board members next week. All right, take care. Bye bye.
Thanks for the presentation.
Thanks for being here.
Okay. Now everyone can wake up from taxes. Or we're all biting our nails because we're worried about doing our taxes. And I guess a good survey could have been the way to start this, is who here does their own and who here doesn't do their own. But our accountant has left for the evening, so we shall move on from there. Any other last
Well,
questions?
that doesn't mean we couldn't take a poll.
This is true. This is true. Okay, so let's take a quick poll here of the group that I could see, which is 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 people. I can't see everybody else. Oh, that 10. Who here does their own taxes? Hands up. 1, 2, 3. Oh, well, we got, 50% roughly, 40%. And the rest of the group farms it out to the powers of being, or they may not file a tax return at all and they live under the radar. Good for you. Anyone here not file tax returns? No, I don't want to know that.
Someone else handles my taxes and my money.
You are lucky, Bob, to have that happen for you.
Not lucky, because then I do get reports, but
yes, you get reports, but boy,
I always have to go through somebody to get any major expense done.
It's doing your own taxes is a lot of time spent, right, Bill?
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, I'm sorry. Who else? I saw a couple of
take me long.
Because you did it professionally, so for me, I have to reread these things like 30 times and go, line what comes from where?
The only thing that's difficult in the tax forms is if you do IRA to Roth conversions. Their forms are so screwy, and unfortunately, TurboTax does not do a very good job of guiding you through it.
Mm.
So I have to go to previous year's tax returns and look up the forms in order to get it.
The other thing that generates a lot of headaches is if you have any real estate transactions.
Yeah.
Those I have forms that are quite interesting.
Hey, Bill, you brought up that Roth conversions. When you do a Roth conversion, the gain from the conversion counts as income, correct?
If you're converting from a traditional IRA to a Roth conversion, that is a taxable event.
The event is, okay, so let's say you had $5 in this, whatever it is, let's say $5. Does that mean the whole $5 is taxable? Or is it the
It
portion of
depends.
the gain?
You may have some traditional IRA funds that were after-tax contributions.
Okay,
And let's say you had $1,000 in an IRA account,
right.
and $20 of that was after-tax contributions, and you withdrew $500. They would take the $20, divide that by the 1,000, which would give you a percentage. And that percentage then would be applied to the $500 that you took out. And that would be tax-free, and the rest of it would be taxable. So it's a little more complicated than that.
Okay. And doesn't that count against you if you do this prior to going on Medicare? Because it raises your income threshold.
It may have a bearing on that, but I don't know what those limits are.
Actually, if you're doing Roth conversions, you should do them before you go on Medicare, because the bands for Medicare are a lot closer together than the tax brackets. So if you try to do a big Roth conversion, you pay a huge amount in Medicare for a year.
Oh, so they
Okay,
get you there.
that may be true, and I'll run into that this year because I converted a bunch. But the other part of the coin is twofold. One is if the market is way, way down, like it has been, it may be to your benefit to convert it.
Yeah.
Regardless of the Medicare problem. Number two, depending on what you plan on doing with your estate, if you're planning on giving it to your kids, it may be beneficial for you to convert it now at your income tax level rather than giving it to the kids and having them use a 10-year clock to convert it at their tax level. And that's what I'm doing.
Screw the kid.
Well, I'm giving it to the kids because my kids are in a higher tax bracket than I am.
Can I be one
So
of
I'm
your
converting
kids?
it now.
Can I be one of your kids? Tim says he wants to be one of your kids.
You have to change your
Since you're
name.
just giving this stuff away.
You'll have to change your name, Sanford.
And I
Okay.
think Bill, the other thing that fits in with that is if you can do it before you have to pay RMDs.
You have to
And
do
that
the
is-
RMD first.
Yeah, but if you're less than 72 or 70, you don't have RMDs yet.
That's true.
So after 55 or whatever it is, when you can take it without penalty, until you have to do RMDs, that's the time to do Roth conversions,
Well,
especially if you're under
again, it
65.
depends on your own situation. Depends on the market, where it stands. If the market's really low, like it's been, it's a good time to convert. If the market's high, you don't want to convert. If your kids are in a lower tax bracket than you may not want to convert at all.
All right, I got a headache from this already.
IRA is a little different,
Yes.
but that's the bottom line. That's really all you need to know. The rest is just filling out the forms.
Okay, Terry did not talk about software very much. He just briefly went on it. Those of us that do our taxes ourselves, do we all use software? I use software. Okay, it doesn't matter which one. They're all fairly similar. Brand wise, I don't have an experience with other brands. I only use I've been using the H&R Block one for 20 some odd years. That's just what I'm used to.
That's funny. I worked for them and I chose to use TurboTax.
Yeah. Oh, you do? Okay. All right. And again, this is the one I've been using. I don't know why I still stick with it because I heard
It's what you're used
TurboTax.
to.
It's what I'm used to. Right. I don't know if there's any difference. There's things that it doesn't do very well and things it does pretty good. So, but I found the software these days, a software period is generally pretty good. Their
Yep.
review process that they go through may not be thinking along the line the way I think progressively to put in the information. However, it does get the job done. And I generally like to go the shoebox route where I'll just pull up all the forms and just start populating them. But I found that when I go through the review process, it screws it up.
Mhm.
It will have that stuff in there, but it also is a double check when you're going through the review process or the interview, not the review, interview process.
I go straight to the forms.
Okay, yeah, and that's what I do. But I do go back through on the interviews because it does cue me on some things and remind me things that I could have missed.
Yeah.
We could talk more on this at length for all night long. Good, Bill, you got another question?
Well, the only other comment I will add is you want to keep really good records of what you have contributed on a yearly basis to both your Roth and your IRAs and what you've converted from a IRA to a Roth, and perhaps any after-tax contributions that you might have had, which have been diminished over the years due to conversions. And I have a spreadsheet that does that.
Okay. Is there any other last things on this subject? Comments, questions? No. All right, we can either go into my little presentation I was going to do, and then why don't we do that? And then I'll go to open forum afterwards. How about that? We switch this up tonight. So,
Okay, boss.
okay, boss, thank you. All right, let's see if I can do this right. All right, so now, so let me give you guys a quick background. You're going to see this device right here and a reason for this discussion whatsoever. Through my doctoring that I've been going through, it's been determined that I had some balance issues. And my doctors at Mayo Clinic put me through their balance clinic that they have there. They actually have people to train you and walk you through exercises that you can do at home to improve your personal balance. That is, so you don't fall over, that is to say. And so they gave me some really simple exercises to do, like, basically standing on one foot, have your eyes closed and touch your nose or something like that, and do it alternatively, and then switch to the other feet. And this is kind of good, but I don't get a feel. Am I getting any improvement? Am I getting anything from this? And when I discussed this with my buddy, he uses the wii-u, which I have up here on the screen, for his exercises as well as for his balance. And he says, you should look into this. Now, we all heard about the fact that the Wii years ago, decades ago, a decade plus ago, when the Wii came out, it was the big hit with geriatric and older people for using for exercising. And which it is a very good device that you can use for that purpose for exercises. The wii-u is the next generation of the Wii. This was, and then they got away from this whole platform and went into something else. But the wii-u, I think it's supposed to be like a university or something like that, or universe or whichever. It consisted of a base unit which houses the DVD player or DVD reader, as well as all the computer guts, if you will, for this. It also has a a RF light bar that sees where you're at in a physical space, and it measures where you're at. On top of that, the other device that it comes with is this game console. And that's the part that you see up in the middle with the picture of it. The game console is a handheld portable device. This is pre-tablets. So this is just when tablets were starting to, I guess, becoming something. This was a touchscreen device. It's primarily designed for gaming, is what they came up with it. But because it's under Wii, they have all kinds of stuff that you could do with this thing. I only use it for this function, for this wii-u, for this exercise or this balance program that I run. And incorporated in this device, in the very middle up at the top, is a camera. And the camera is front facing, so it faces you. It is utilized in this program very well, I think. The implementation of this is excellent. I think this is great implementation of the hardware and software. Again, this is old technology, and this is not even sold anymore. You have to buy this on the secondary market or the tertiary market. You got to buy it used from somebody, and it's still being supported, but it's not supported. That is to say, if you buy a unit and you need to have it reset to factory conditions for a new person to use it, you call an 800 number and they will do it for you. They'll walk you right through it, and it only takes a couple of minutes to do. And I was quite amazed. I was talking to somebody over the phone and they had me up and running in no time. And that was within this last year, even though this device is no longer being supported, so to speak, but they still are supporting it. Okay, along with the device, you'd need to purchase the game, the Wii Fit game, and you need to get a balance board, which is right here. The balance board, you can buy these Goodwill, any open market, $10 is all it's going to run you for that. The console and the game unit, along with the controller, this is a little single handheld controller. You only need one, but it should come with the base unit. I paid $100 for this setup. And the game I bought used, you're gonna buy all this used. I bought the game for less than $20. I think $10 or $20 I paid for it. Again, I bought this all online, locally. You could buy it off of Craigslist or wherever you want to go shopping for your used stuff. I bought this whole console and the game unit and everything, but the balance board and the program. I bought that off of a couple of kids. It was some kids, they wanted to move on. They sold it to me. It worked. I made sure it worked, and it's great. So that being said, let's kind of move on to it. You have the single controller here, and then the Wii Fit U program, or the game program, which is a DVD that you insert into the middle of this thing. All right, so the reason I like utilizing this, and I went this route because I listened to my buddy, and he said, this is what you should be doing. The reason I went this route is because in the Wii Fit U and the balance board, it actually gives you feedback that you can see on your progress that you're doing. Immediate feedback. And I will show you what that is, hopefully. I'll get through some of these screens, but I'll tell you that the feedback it gives you, you know whether or not you're achieving your goal right then and there. And that's why I like this thing. So the program starts out, you set up, you can set up your avatar, which I have at the bottom. Look, the guy has a beard too. And you can set up.
That's not showing up on our screen.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Sanford, all we see is your Explorer files with the JPEGs.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. I thought you guys were seeing everything I had here going.
Oh.
And let me do to share. I apologize here.
It's all right.
I thought you were seeing everything I was doing here. There we go. Okay, I'll go back to my first screen then. Hopefully this will do.
That does look like you.
Yes. All right. So here's what I was trying to show you in the beginning. Now you guys can see this one.
Yeah.
So this is the
Yeah.
game. The console is on the bottom, and that's the main console is on the bottom, and then you have the game controller. Basically, it's like a tablet that's up at the top. Just bear with me a second. Sorry. Okay. And then the infrared bar at the bottom. And then here's the Wii controller itself. Okay. So the Wii controller you interact with to do your selections. It's not really part of the program, but you need it to move forward. That's all. You click and go forward and back with it. And then the other thing was the balance board that I showed here. And the balance board, as you see, it's on my yoga mat. So this is all using yoga. So this whole program runs through doing yoga routines, and you're not required to know yoga. It walks you through everything. This is all no impact whatsoever, strictly balancing and stretching exercises. And they're great to use. So hopefully I'm doing this correct. So you have the game, the Wii Fit U, and then you have this avatar that I created that you set up a profile. I have my BMI here, which would be my body mass. I don't bother tracking any of that stuff on here. I do that somewhere else. But you can track your weight. You can track your fitness, your entire exercise routine, on and on and on. All you can do this in here in this program. When you start the program, you get to choose what you want to do. So you can join a community, as you see the screen on the left in the orange. There's a community. Community would be if you had friends, buddies, somebody else in another state that's on this thing. You could do this all simultaneously, or you compete against each other. You can compare notes, who's losing the most amount of weight, whatever you want to do. Okay, that's the community. More or less, that's kind of like a Facebook thing, I think, but not quite. You can select your exercises. This is where most people start, is they select their exercises. And I'll go through that screen in a moment. And the one off to the right would be your personal trainer. You could set up, and you could actually have a personal trainer that will put you through and suggest different exercises for you to do to work on certain things, whatever it is you want.
Is this software that's or this program inside this console?
The software is on a DVD that you have to purchase separately. And then I put it in the DVD inside the console, and then this runs that. So that is called the Wii Fit U. And you got to make sure that if you're going to go this route, you got to buy the Wii U, but you also have to buy the software for the Wii U. And it just means you got to hone in on that, and that's what you're buying. So I hope that answered your question, Wayne.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we're back to this screen. You could set up, the Wii Fit can give you routines, or you can set up your own routines on the green panel on the right-hand side, which is what I generally do. I created my own routines, and I follow them as an exercise. It takes me so many minutes to go through, and I'm done for my session. All right. So what this program actually has on this DVD is it has yoga, strength training, aerobics, dance, and balance games. All these are basically to improve your posture and your balance and your strength throughout your body. You can pick and choose. You don't have to do any one of those. I only do the yoga, which is at the very top. But if you're interested, you want to lose some weight, feel free to go through some of these other sub-programs that are in here or exercise routines that they have here. They can work in tandem. That is, you can go from a yoga routine into a strength training or a balance game to help improve your balance, and by using a game to do it. And it could be as simple as doing a hula hoop while you're on this balance board. And there's no hula hoop. You're just pretending that you're doing it.
Who
And
said
by
that's
doing
simple?
that, you're going to be improving your balance. Okay. And you see how many are on here. I didn't never count as 30, is what, maybe 40 some odd routines that they have on here. So under yoga, you pick all these different exercises that you can do here. And there are a whole bunch of them are listed across the bottom. And if you just choose it, you just hit start and it'll go ahead and it'll walk you through. 100% it walks you through everything. And the walkthrough is done on your TV, which this is connected to. I should have told you, is you hook this up to a TV. You also have the game console that's in your hands that's displayed on there. But you don't hold that. You put that down someplace and let it sit there because it has that camera that's going to face you. So we're going to go through and, I wanted to show you this was under balance games. As I mentioned, there's a whole bunch of routines there that you can do that by doing these exercises, you're going to be improving your balance. And it gives you a fun way of doing it. All right, so this is me on the right, as you could tell. And I'm going to pause that just for a moment and tell everybody what's going on here. So I am doing the half moon exercise here, and I'm, kind of leaning to the left. But while I'm doing this, I'm standing on the balance board. And the balance board is this big rectangle that you see in the middle. The yellow area is my target, and the red is my actual balance position. And the goal here is to keep that as close to the middle of this bullseye that's in there as much as possible. And it's going to track that. So this is where I am getting 100% feedback right away. I can see, what am I doing? Am I balancing too much on my left? Am I too much on my right? It's improving the balance in my ankles and in my feet and my legs, as well as your torso, because you're monitoring all this and you can see this all happening in real time. This is what I liked about this versus the physical exercises I was given. There's this one here is working with each one works on different things. For instance, this could be working on your center of gravity in your body, that is your core center. And when you're turning, you want to see how well you keep your center of gravity up. And you're going to do the left side and the right side exercises. And then at the end, it's going to show you to give you feedback on what you actually perform. So I'll play this through and you can see what's going on here. I muted this, but at the same time, you're being narrated through this whole thing and being encouraged to do the exercise. And I'll go on. Does anyone have any questions about this part?
So Sanford, when you're looking at your TV screen,
yep,
you are seeing what we're seeing, her and you in the little.
100%.
Okay.
You see the coach is on the left-hand side. Oh, and by the way, you can pick male or female. I tend to like to rather look at a female's backside than a male's backside. So that's me. But yes, this is what I'm seeing. The camera that's on that console is giving the picture of me. And that's what you're seeing on the screen here. So that's why I have that facing right towards me. So I'll go to the next one. This exercise would be the half moon going on the opposite side, going on the right-hand side. And you can see my little red ball is bouncing all over the place. I'll say while I was doing these exercises, I was not concentrating on doing them right. I was kind of wanted to put this together as a video. talking to my wife who's trying to take this stuff with my pictures with my cell phone. Got improved later. So if I'm moving all over the place, it's because of me. All right, so this one, again, we're talking about center of gravity. The next one would be working on your core muscles using a grounded V. Sit down on the balance board. And then you're going to raise your legs up. You're talking. This is probably the only one I can usually score 100% on. All the other ones I can't score 100%. And you can see it got that bullseye barely moving in the middle. But boy, it's really.
Is the balance board part of this, or did you just?
The balance board is needed. It's you buy that separately, but it's required for this program.
Okay.
Right. So you need the home console. Will come with a single controller. Maybe it'll come with other stuff. Oh, before I continue on there, and you'll need the balance board and the game. All right.
I think don't they use like Bluetooth to communicate?
Yeah, I believe they do.
Because they're wireless. They're not, the balance board's not hooked up with a cable or anything.
Everything is all wireless. There's no wires on anything. Once you leave the console, that is, the console has a wire to that infrared bar and and that's it. The game controller is actually wireless, and there's no wires on that one. Battery operated, which the user can replace the battery, which I just did on mine, and I paid like $7 and I bought a new battery, an OEM battery, and just threw that in 2 weeks ago. I will go, and the rest of the things work on AA batteries. Simple. So what you're seeing here on this screen is you're seeing a recap of what I did in the exercise, and it's showing the big yellow target with the red ball in the middle, and it's actually replaying what I had done when I was standing on it. It was going in an accelerated speed, but you can see how much it moves around. And then it gives you an assessment and gives you there. So these are the exercises that I currently have in my scenario. I have 10 of them that I choose to do, and they're all very simple, no impact, but they're mainly stretching and balancing. So, and then it gives you that, and it gives you a piggy bank to tell you how many calories you burn and how many minutes you've been doing your exercises. So we'll go to the next one, hopefully. Come on. All right, so I'm kind of a little out of sequence here. These are the exercises that I pre-chose in my routine. And the way I have them positioned, meaning they're going to go 1 through 10. You can do as many as you want. You can do as few as you want. You can do them one at a time, which is how I was doing them for months until I learned this part here. I just never got to that point. So I set up my own exercise routine. So let's go to this exercise, which is the sun salutation. You could see the bullet, the target is different shaped, and the bullseye is different. And that's because you're doing a totally different kind of exercise here. And you hear me talking I'm talking to my wife and I wanted it to do, but you could catch gist of this. And you can see the exercise is being displayed on the console at the same time. So it walks you through it verbally, visually, and in the middle of it is the camera that I can take a picture of me. And let's go to the next one. Okay, so the center of balance, we caught the very end of it, but it gave you a different kind of telemetry or feedback on what you were doing. So let me go to the next one. We did that one. And this would be a different exercise that I believe I might have a video of. There's some exercises that you do, or routines that you're doing, let's say the warrior pose, where you're only having one foot on the balance board, and it might be your right foot you'll start with, and then you go to the left foot on the balance board separately. So each one has its own goals to analyze your balance on that particular. In other words, how much pressure am I putting on that foot? Am I putting the right amount of pressure, too much, too little? And that will help you control your tipping. Are you going to tip over too much? Build up the strength on your feet, on the front part of your feet versus the back part of your feet. All comes into play here, but it's giving you feedback. As you can see on the left side, you see a little red line. It kind of sloped up and down. That was me adjusting to where my angle was at. The right side looks like it was dead on how much pressure to put on that right foot when I was doing this exercise. So that information would have came from something like this triangle. I'll kind of jump here. Oops, sorry, I jumped too fast. So here I have, as you can see, I only have one foot on the board as the instructor has on the left side. And my goal here is to have that red bar in the very middle of this box side. The little rectangle that's in there, and I got to have it in the very middle of it. And that's showing how much pressure and weight I'm putting on my front leg. And that will lead back to that other graph that we saw there prior to where red line came down and went straight across. As you can see, if I have that middle, straight across. That, of course, it doesn't help that. And to be honest, I do this in my bedroom by a secure or enclosed area next to my dresser so that I can grab it to hold on to in case I am losing my balance. Because you're kind of moving around here, and we're not young kids, we don't recover as quickly. So this is what I did in a little more confined area. All right, so let's see. Do I have more? Yeah, well, I showed this one. And I think that we showed that bar, so we got that done. And I think that might be the end of what I had to show. Let me double see. Yeah. Okay, so basically this is, I stopped sharing this. This is what I use, the wii-u for balance exercises to increase the ability for me to maintain my balance. Works for me. I've been enjoying this thing. It's quick, easy to do, and I definitely like this a lot better than the exercises my doctor gave me. This is me coming up with the idea of doing this, or my buddy came up with the idea. This is not my doctor's telling me to do this. However, next time I go and talk to them and see them in that department, if I do, they may ask me, am I doing these exercises? And then I'll tell them straight out, no, I'm not. This is what I'm doing instead. And I found it much more beneficial. And they'll probably say, as long as you're doing it regularly, that's all that matters.
Sanford, is this a result of you having COVID?
No, this is not. This is a result of some other conditions going on here that they were concerned over balance issues. And what are they? I got something like an arterial schwannoma that's in my around my
Ears?
Yeah, it's not around the ear. It's around the nerve that goes from your inner ear as well as your ear to your brain. And there's excess growth around it, and it's pinching it, and it could interfere with my ability of getting the signals for balance through. So this is one of the things they suggested that I do.
Yeah, my wife has Meniere's disease.
Okay, which I'm not familiar.
Which is an inner ear issue,
Okay,
affects your balance. And you can go through spells where she can't hardly walk.
and I've had those too, where I've had, dizzy spells where I couldn't even get out of bed for a full day, literally a
Use
full
a
day.
walker to go to the bathroom.
Well, so, Bill, will this help? I don't know. But, it's given me feedback better than standing on one foot and going, like this, with my eyes closed.
Yeah.
And there's a whole bunch of other exercises they gave me to do, where stuff, which is nice because you can do them anywhere. Because it's you and your body. You're just walking and posing yourself. However, there was one time I did those exercises and I got very dizzy and nauseous from doing it. And it was this is something going on in my head. So I don't know what caused that. But from that point, I started looking for an alternative. And this is an alternative for me. And that's it. That's why I use the wii-u. My buddy uses it for daily exercise routines and balance stuff. And he swears by it. But he's a holistic. He's a holistic.
Chat.
I'm sorry.
Can you put that in chat?
Put what? What am I putting in chat?
Your presentation.
This is all out of my head.
Oh, okay.
No, I didn't write up a presentation.
Okay.
You want the pictures? I could give you the pictures, but
yeah, the pictures would be fine.
Okay, pictures. Can I put pictures in chat?
Yeah, JPEGs.
Okay, all right, I'll do that when we're in our open forum section or something like that, but I'll figure that part, I think. Yeah, what do I do?
This video is also posted, right, to review afterwards?
Oh, that's true.
Eventually.
Yeah. This whole presentation.
This whole presentation will be up on it'll be up on YouTube.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so there's a few that went through to everyone. And I don't know how well, let's see.
So let me say something and you can tell me if I have it right. So you need the controller, you need the box to put the DVD into, you need DVD, then you need the board. So I think what you're saying is originally as a purchase, all four of those things come as a set, but because you're buying it on eBay or third party, you're only able to buy it piecemeal.
Well, actually, the game controller should come with the console, and that should come with an individual controller. So the only thing you'd be buying separately would be the balance board and the game.
The game being the DVD itself.
Yes.
But are you saying you can use the box for other stuff other than this particular DVD?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's a Wii.
It's a Wii game. So you can play old Wii games. You can, if you got grandkids, let me tell you, they all love like Mario Kart, and the rest of them, they're all no, that's Nintendo. No, Nintendo Wii. Yeah, you could play all the Wii games on this thing. There's ones you can purchase online. There's a whole library of stuff, and you can get a lot of them free from your library to check out. To take advantage of this particular console, you got to make sure that you purchase the games that are authorized for wii-u. That's what sets this differently. This is a higher end control system, or a higher end system that they developed. They had one for the masses, and then they had a premium one. This is more of a premium unit.
And more controllers too, weren't like the Nux and that you could use for throwing games and one thing or another.
There's Nux, there's tennis rackets, there's steering wheels, there's a whole bunch of stuff that you can get to play
Like
games with.
tennis rackets.
Right. I'm not exploring any of that, and I'm not promoting any of this. I'm just telling you, this is what I got. My problem and my solution. And I'll say this, it's old technology. So finding these is a little harder, but they're out there. And because they're used, you should be able to pick them up relatively cheap. You might even be able to go to GameStop if you could find one that's still open. GameStop sells these. Maybe not.
Supply.
Yeah, we've got one of those we had, and I actually on one of the cruises, they had that and we were bowling. You could use it for bowling.
Yeah, bowling, shuffleboard. There's a lot of stuff that you can play on there that available for these consoles. Well, the nice thing about the Wii U, the one thing that I liked about it is the output from it to your TV can be HDMI versus the old unit was only RCA. So it was a low quality video output. At least this is, I think, 720p that's coming out of it, but it's HDMI, which meant I could plug it into any TV today. And that was one thing that I thought was important because most TVs do have RCA jacks, but they're going bye-bye. And it's getting harder and harder to find one that will take an RCA. But the HDMI will work. More questions?
Interesting.
I hope you guys found it of a benefit for you. I thought this was an interesting thing that it's something I've been using for months, probably about 6 months or so I've been using this, and I'm very happy with my investment of purchasing this. I paid $100 for the base system and $10 for the balance board, and I think I want to say $10 or so for the game. Craigslist was where it was at. The balance board, actually, I saw at a garage sale and I picked it up immediately when I saw it. I was like, great. I will say, make sure you test whatever you buy from whomever you get it. If you buy the game, make sure it doesn't have any big scratches in it, that it looks like it'll work, because you can't test that until you put it in it. But the console, plug it in, make sure it turns on, that it has power to it. If the person did not do a factory reset on it, you'll have to do that. It's basically the console is registered to a person's email address, and they can go in and delete that registration and remove that or unregister it from them. However, if they don't remember their PIN, then you're going to have to call in to the 800 number and just Google it and you'll find it, because Nintendo used to have an online portal to do this, but that portal has since been shut down. Oh, and they used to charge you $5 to do it too, to get you a new PIN to do this process. Well, since you have to call in now, they don't charge you anything. You just call in, and it was just a couple of minutes, and boom, the guy gives you a one-time code that it's only good for that day. And you have to be in front of the unit, plug in that code, and it resets it. And then you can go in and reauthorize it to yourself. Okay. And that was my little mini presentation on the Wii U. With that, let's go into our open forum. Who here would like to bring up the first question of the evening? Oh, this is a tough crowd tonight.
Well, I have a question for you.
Okay, Tom.
Okay, I have a program called Print Artist.
Oh my God.
Uh-oh. Well, I've got the DVD and it works fine on my laptop, but for some reason I can load it in my desktop, and when I try to start it, it brings up the primary screen that tries to load Print Artist. It sits there for maybe 15 seconds and goes away. I don't know why it does it. And I would like to know if you guys have any idea what's going on.
There's an outside chance it's a compatibility issue because your tower is an older system than the laptop.
Yep. You probably might have to do something like XP compatibility mode.
Well, let me back this up for a second. It has worked on both systems in the past. And for some reason, I've had to reload it on the tower.
Okay, so I'm assuming the tower is running Windows 10.
Both systems are Windows 10, and they have been for quite a while.
The only thing I could say, did you try compatibility mode first?
What are you talking about?
I think when you go and right click on the program, you can choose, you can change how it runs, and you want to use it in a Windows 7 compatibility mode. It'll be like a run as.
The other situation that could also be affected, you said you had to reload it. Did you use Revo to totally uninstall the original before reinstalling the program? Because you may have even one or more registry entries that are causing your problem.
Yes, I did reload it after uninstalling it with the program on. There's an uninstall.
Yeah, but you and I brought this up before when we set that up. Revo is a total uninstaller. It not only runs the program's uninstaller, it gives you the ability to clean out the registry and any leftover files, completely removing everything. Then, when you reinstall the program, it's like brand new.
Oh, you're talking about the program reload.
Yes.
No, it's called Revo, R-E-V-O uninstaller.
Okay, I have not used that to uninstall Print Artist.
That could be an option for you. I think it's compatibility mode is your problem, and you said it worked before, but it doesn't seem to work now. Well, I will reflect the fact that Windows is dynamic. It's constantly changing, updating, and they seem to be eliminating and taking things out that used to be in there. It could be, I don't know, what is it? A .NET issue. It could be something else.
In Windows, there have been recent updates which have applied to the print spooler and print spooler security. This blocks some functions that used to work, and it changed the way certain other things happen in printing. So the entire printing stack has been altered in Windows 10 and 11.
Okay, well, it doesn't even get as far as the print.
Repeat, please, because we lost you.
He's using 5G
Printing. It
cell
just
phone Wi-Fi.
Hey,
yes.
Tom, why don't you stop your video and just let us hear audio?
Okay.
Conserve bandwidth.
Yeah. Right now,
okay. Can I talk to you fine now?
That's great.
Okay. Thank you. I can click on the icon for Print Artist, and it opens up the Print Artist screen. It starts to bring it up, and it sits on that screen for a couple of seconds, and then the screen goes away. I don't get as far as trying to use it.
Two possibilities. Windows Defender may not have liked it. So that could have been a Defender update. But since it's different between the two different computers, and they probably get similar updates, I think the differences are indeed in the print drivers. And if any of that stuff doesn't load properly, the program will crash.
Yeah, it is in the loading of the program. So it seems like, for me, it seems like there must be a program out there that has stepped on something in the tower system.
Well, it's called Windows.
Well, I agree with what you guys are saying, and I don't know what to change because
Well,
both systems.
We mentioned
Both-
to you about trying compatibility mode.
Yeah.
That would be the very first thing I would try. And I would first run it in XP compatibility mode.
Yeah, if it's a very old program, you can go all the way back to XP mode.
It started out in Windows 98 and it made its way up to XP. And I think it went to 7. But I know it was designed all the way up to XP. I don't remember if it was designed past XP. So I'm assuming it's a 32-bit program and not a 64. So you definitely.
This one is Print Artist Platinum 25, and it is compatible with Windows 10, and it supposedly will work on Windows 11.
All right. How long have you had this?
I've had it since probably 2009.
This version you've had since 2009.
Yes.
But you said if you had it since 2009, how could it be compatible with Windows 10?
Well,
the program's been updated. The program's been updated.
Okay, so did you go to the manufacturer's website and check with them on what they say to make it compatible with Windows 10?
I've gone to their website to find out if it was compatible. I haven't been able to talk to them.
What about, is there any forums?
Any forums?
Forums. Forums. F-O-R-U-M. Forums.
I know what you're saying. I haven't seen anything like that.
Okay, like user forums, help desk, or something like that. A chat.
You can Google for that.
Yeah.
Google it. Go to Google or YouTube. Go to YouTube and see if there's a YouTube video that shows you how to get it to work.
There you go.
I check something about your DVD CD drive in that tower. Go to, you can do this now. Go to Device Manager and open it up. Is there anything in there that doesn't look quite right surrounding your DVD drive?
Well, the DVD drive is brand new. It's an external drive. The one in the tower has died.
Yeah. If you can attach the external, then see what Device Manager does. First, it may install it, then see what it says about the driver status and other things, whether it's working properly.
You said the internal one died?
Yes, a long time ago, probably three
ago.
years.
Was that when you installed Print Artist? Was through that internal?
Yes.
So there's a remote possibility it's trying to go to that drive and check the fact that drive exists. Even though Print Artist only uses the drive, I think, for like clip art.
Hang on. Is that internal drive still there in the machine?
Yes.
Yeah, I believe it is. Yeah.
You've got a dead drive inside the machine, and Windows has never unregistered that device.
That's another reason why you want to use Revo and completely obliterate that program, then reinstall it with that external drive.
Tim, we're getting at something different. We're getting at a hardware issue.
Right. And so what I would suggest to further what Bob is saying is I crack open the box and I physically remove the power cable that goes to that DV drive.
Easy enough to do. Okay.
Yeah, and then close it back up. That's all you're doing. Just take the power cable away. Go ahead, Bob.
One more step. Then go to Device Manager and scan for new hardware. with the working drive attached,
Right.
preferably with the software disk in there, and I let Windows scan for new hardware in Device Manager.
And you have to do the device manager from the administrator's account. It doesn't work in the standard account.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah, I am using the administrator's account. Yes.
Yeah. I don't know that I'd run the program in the administrator's account on a day-to-day basis, but that's a different issue.
Yeah.
In the administrator's account, you can do all this stuff with Device Manager, seeing whether there are any yellow triangles, seeing whether there is an updated driver, and seeing whether the hardware that is detected is the correct DVD drive.
Right. And you'll want to make sure that when you go to install it, reinstall the program, you're going to install it from that external drive, not to the internal drive. Well, there's no more internal, but you want to install it from there.
Yeah.
Okay, I can say that the internal drive is not recognized according to the screen, but that doesn't mean that it's not recognized by the system because it's in their power, or not power, but it's plugged in.
Trying to boot into it, which is why it's crashing after a few seconds.
Right.
What I'm asking about Device Manager is the old drive even listed currently in Device Manager under whatever kind of device it is?
Under CD or DVD drives.
In other words, do you have two listings there? Two or more? And if so, which ones are they?
Okay, that I'd have to log into that machine. Why don't you guys talk a little bit about something else? And
Tom,
no, you can do that some other time.
Before you go in there, Tom, and I'm not knocking this because I love that program. I retired my copy of it, but why are you still rocking Print Artist at this point?
Well, because I like to be able to make Christmas cards and make business cards and things like that. You know,
you hit it right there. That program was dynamite for it. That's what I used it for when my kids were growing up. That's where we made all their Christmas, all the cards that when they had to go to birthday parties. I hated buying all those cards, so we just made up our own.
Yeah.
And it saved me a bundle of money back in those days. And boy, I wish I would have known that you still were rocking it, because I had the platinum. I had all these extra discs with clip art, and I had the big old box full of stuff that went with it. And I just got rid of it within this last year. I retired it all. So would have loved to have given it to you instead of the garbage can, but that's where it went.
Well, the main reason I want to keep using it is I loved it myself, and everything I've got, I could move over to my laptop, but what can I say? I've got all the cards, and all of the work I had done is on the desktop, or the tower, I should say, and it would really fill a thing up quickly.
Yeah, at least that, if you have templates and stuff saved, those are in a folder. You could copy those and keep those.
Oh yeah.
In terms of the artwork and stuff, it doesn't take up that much space on your hard drive, but that's what you need to do. You do whatever works for you.
And the screen size is much bigger on the desktop.
Yeah.
That helps.
All right. Any other questions on this subject? No.
New subject?
New question, new direction. Bill.
Yeah, years ago I've done this, but I haven't done it for quite a while. I have a picture that has a scratch across it, a photo.
Okay.
And what software do you guys use to remove scratches from a picture?
Anyone? Well, I'm the only one who uses software for it. So I use Adobe Photoshop Elements is what I use.
Is that free?
No. However, Bill, you just have one picture, or you have many pictures?
I just have one.
Send it to me. I'll take a look at it and see if I can fix it for you.
All right, thank you.
All right, because taking out a scratch, I personally I clone. If I can do it, I clone part of the image that's adjacent to it and put it like, cover it up with the clone copy part. If you've never done it before, it takes a skill set to do it. And that's why I said, just send it to me. You have to go out, buy the software, then you got to figure out how to use this part on here. And you'd be like, what am I doing? I'm lost. Send it to me. I'll do it. I'll do it for you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Also, a similar type of function can be done in the GIMP, which is free.
Yeah, I was gonna
And-
ask about GIMP.
What?
I
Yeah,
was gonna
and
ask about GIMP.
you already did?
No, I have GIMP, but I've never
Oh.
used it.
Yeah, well, what Sanford is saying about cloning a nearby part of the image, though it
Right.
takes a real skill to do that, either that or dodging it out or whatever you're going to do, or blurring it out or whatever, that can be done as a local effect in the GIMP, but you would probably want to go to some online tutorials to learn about it. You would have to experiment with it, and Sanford's got the experience.
Yeah, and again, because it takes a skill set to do it. It's not doing the process; it's doing the process so you don't see it afterwards.
Right.
That's the hard part. I can do it for about 60% of the time, but not 100%. There are parts in which I cannot do no matter what, especially when it goes across the sky. You know, the clouds, and the clouds are okay, but blue sky just doesn't clone very well. I don't care how good I try. You just can't get it right. You know, you always will see it. So anyways, I'll be happy to do that for you, Bill.
Yeah.
Next question, new direction. Okay, Dennis, yes.
Unmute yourself, Dennis.
Okay.
Dennis, you're muted. Oh, there you
Oh,
are.
wait, no. He's got one that is, one that isn't.
Right. Sorry.
Yes,
Go ahead.
I've got this problem with my camera on the Chromebook works fine. On the 8.1, it's doing what you're seeing there. And I know Tim, I've had this for a couple weeks now. It's never been able to get rid of it. Tim had it at one time. I'm just wondering if Tim knew why I was getting it or if he found a way how to fix it.
I've got the same problem recently. Something tells me it's a Microsoft update and I haven't isolated it. But if you watch mine, it'll start flickering and then it'll start doing something similar to what you got.
Right. Yours was doing it at the top of your
Right.
screen.
Right.
Dennis is really just kind of going nuts there. But Dennis is like pulling up Zoom when he's talking and it's bouncing around there. He's good on this one.
It'll change, just
It'll
like mine
change.
is.
There he goes. The minute he starts talking, Dennis, we can't hear you. Just so you know.
Well, it does start at the top. It always did, but then after a while, it eventually starts doing all over.
Yeah. Could be a driver issue.
Yeah, how up to date are the video drivers on that machine?
Well, it's an 8.1 that he's got, and God knows how up to date those are.
Wait, the one that's jumbling around is the 8.1?
Yep.
Okay,
Oh.
that was your wife's machine that we had the discussion about.
Correct.
Okay, so here's your first test on this support issue about it's no longer being supported, and a problem has shown up with it.
Now, this is a laptop?
Yes, it's a Samsung laptop. But is the support issue is it a Zoom issue or is it some other? Well, it must be a Zoom thing, right?
I would be trying to see if Samsung has ever updated the video driver for that laptop. Even if they have an a more up-to-date driver that isn't specific to that laptop, they may have a video driver that would work.
And you would get that right from Samsung's website.
Right.
Look up your particular model, look up driver under support, look up drivers and see if there's a new driver for the video card, different than what's on your system.
Well, okay, but the reason I kind of held off is because I knew Tim had it, and I thought, well, let me see if Tim knew of his reason. Might be related to the same thing.
Yeah, well, again, there has been mention that Windows has done some updates. You know, sometimes Windows Update tries to update your drivers. And if you haven't told it, don't do that. And I think that's a registry setting, which isn't always respected anyway. You may have gotten some drivers through Windows Update.
You could always do a system file checker, scan now.
Well, another thing you can do is go into the administrator's account of the 8.1 machine, go into device driver, which is, I can't even remember how to get to it offhand, and there find the video folder, expand it to see your video devices, and open up the driver, and under driver it may have an option of rollback. Rollback is to restore the prior video driver if it's available, and which case that might clear up the problem, but that's iffy. I don't always see a rollback option. It just says you're up to date and gives you no rollback option.
Yeah, and again, as long as that and a device manager don't show anything that says there's something wrong with your video, then that's a good question. Also, if that laptop is kind of old, more than 3, maybe 5 years, it could be nearing end of life.
Okay, I'm good.
Okay, next question, new direction. Anyone buy anything new lately? I did. Surprise, surprise. Now, I will start out to say that the item I had purchased, I had no ill intent when I purchased this item. Okay, and I'll tell you how this story goes. I was watching TV some weeks ago and learned about this company down in, where is this, down at Shorewood, that sells like return Amazon products and other store return products. So it's called SLIBUY.com. And they sell a lot of overstock, a lot of return items, mainly all return items. So one of the items that I saw in there, the only thing I purchased from them was that I saw there, and I go, oh, this might be interesting. I saw a Western Digital 10 terabyte red drive.
Ooh.
And I saw that and I go, ooh, that'd be pretty nice. So I wound up bidding on it and wind up getting it for a little more than $100 after, I think I paid like $115 after taxes or something like that out the door. Brought it home, plugged it in. What do you think?
Dead.
It didn't. It wasn't dead. It spun up. There was no clicking sounds. There was nothing visually or physically wrong with the drive. The drive even was recognized by the 2 different computers that I plugged it into. But the drive failed to initialize.
Ah.
It wouldn't, in other words, it wouldn't initialize, so I couldn't format it. So it was stuck in the very beginning stages. Again, it's spun just fine. So I was like, oh, great. I'm out $115 for this thing. So the heck of it, I go on the Western Digital site and found out this drive, which was only months old, was still covered under warranty.
Yeah.
So again, I'm stating here, I had no ill intent when I purchased this thing. Okay, I thought, well, it's no good. I'm stuck. I wasted money, and this is the last time I'm going to deal with this company down there, and it wasn't good. But then Western Digital said, yeah, you're covered by warranty. As a matter of fact, you got 3 years full warranty on this thing. What? Great. So I contact Western Digital, I set up an RMA, and I ship it out. Free shipping back to them, and they got it. And they sat on it, and they sat on it. And a week plus later, I start contacting them a little more in a week. I'm going, what's going on with this? Oh, well, you got your drive. The problem is we don't have a drive to send you. We're due to delivery issues. They had no drives in. I said, well, if you want, if it helps, I'll take a bigger drive. Long story short, I did get a different drive. I got a brand new 12 terabyte Western Digital red drive, which are made for servers, which is where I went and plugged it on into my server. And right now it's sitting down there and it's being populated in my server. So there we have it. And it works just great.
You really lucked out there.
I lucked out with this one. I'm hoping, it takes a while for my server to settle down when you start adding new drives into the mix. So I'm letting it do its thing. And when it calms down, doing all of its balancing and moving files around. Currently my server has 6 drives in it. I'll be removing 2 of them because I don't need that many drives. I think I got 7 drives in there. I can take 2 of them out of that system. That would be an extra 10 terabytes out. And I brought in 12, so I'll still have a surplus in there. But that was my goal, is to put these in and then I'll take out the old ones. My old drive. It's time to start cycling out my old drives. Mind you, the drive that I removed out of there was a Western Digital red 2 terabyte drive. It was one of my original drives. It's been running in there 24/7, 365 for 7 years without 0 hiccups whatsoever. So I have a 2 terabyte red drive that's sitting on a table that I don't know what I'm going to do with. So that was what I bought. I don't know if I'll go back to that company and buy anything else. They do have a lot of inventory that they go through, but I will say, what I was talking to people there is as interesting as and exciting it might be, is don't buy anything electronic, because more than likely it doesn't work. So they are returned for, items are returned for a reason. Who knows what they are? So that was it. I didn't buy anything else. Anybody else buy anything?
Not this time.
All right. And I also had another hard drive fail on me. I had a Team Group. Anyone heard of Team Group? That is a, what is it? Like SSDs and memory cards that are sold through Newegg. And I had a Team Group SSD, a 500 gigabyte that was only 6 months old, that crapped out on me. Just boom, stopped working. So this is I think my 4th SSD that's died on me in the last 4 years. And it just upright and just died. Luckily, this one was backed up. It had 0 important data on it whatsoever. I was not out anything. And I shipped it out. It wound up going to California. California sent it to Taiwan, and Taiwan shut down for the Chinese New Year's. So it just was shipped out yesterday back to the United States, for what that's worth. And I got another drive coming in that I'll put that one in. And that's my hard drive and drive stories. Any other last questions, comments?
I've got that video that I could try and play, but I'll have to log in a second time on a different machine.
Are you talking about that video about tax stuff? Let's not. Everybody, well, let's not. We'll say let's conclude for the night.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
They sent you that picture.
And I will stop this recording.
Could I ask a question?
Go ahead. Yes.
Okay, I've never used the the what's this? The Revo delete?
Revo uninstaller.
Well, excuse me, Revo uninstall. I'm looking at it right now, and I've found that there are 45 useless registry items have been found for this particular Nova development, Print Artist Platinum 25.
Okay, so you select all.
I can select those 45. There are quite a few other things.
There should be a select all tab or button.
It's a button.
There is a select all button, yes.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then
Select all.
Then choose delete.
Well, let me get down here. Okay. I'll do a select all. Well, okay, I did the select all, but it's doing more than just those particular spots.
That's all right. Don't worry about it. Let it do it.
Okay, then I'll select delete now.
Confirm.
Okay, are you sure that you want to do it? Yes, I'm sure. Trash them. It's a hell of a lot of things in registry. I had no idea it was still there.
Every program writes a ton of stuff to your registry.
Well, that I know, but I figured it was cleared out. But
No.
bad figures.
90 some odd % of the uninstalled programs included with an application do not remove anything from the registry and leave tons of files on your system. That's what Revo gets rid of.
Okay.
And also periodically you might want to do a light registry cleaning with either CCleaner or Glare Utilities. Because that helps manage some of this stuff too. But when you're doing an uninstall like this, the objective is to get rid of as much of the registry garbage as possible. And there can be a lot in some programs.
Yeah. Okay, now it's come down to where it's got the finish for this.
Well,
So
wait a minute. Does it show files there that are left behind? If so, select them, delete them, confirm the delete, and they're gone.
It does say found leftover files and folders, and there are quite a few of them.
Yeah, get rid of those.
Okay, select all.
Oh, did you wait, hold it, Tom.
Hold it.
Yep.
Tom, did you make sure that you saved your templates?
My templates, the things, the folders that I had made.
Yeah, in other words, if you had already had cards that you've designed and stuff, they're in a folder. You'll want to make sure you copy those out because it could, not saying it will, but it could delete those.
I think he's right. The templates folder would be among the places that would be deleted.
Mm-hmm.
So copy those over to someplace safe.
Yep.
I do have some backups.
All right.
You do? Okay.
You're going to want to restoring those backups at some point after you reinstall the program.
Yeah, I can get them that way. Okay, so I did a select all, and now I can do a finish on this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as long as you're sure you've got all that stuff backed up.
Yeah. Well, I just do a finish on it. Boy, there's a lot of this stuff out here.
Oh yeah, it'll take a little while.
Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. Get rid of this junk.
This way you can get a clean reinstall.
Generally, you should. Yeah.
Generally, but before I try a reinstall, I'm going to unplug the power on this thing, on that DVD that's in there.
Yes, but also do a reboot before you try and reinstall.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to have to turn the power off.
Oh yeah.
To pull the plug off on the DVD, the power supply to the DVD player. So
yeah, you would have
I understand that. Yes, sir. It would be shocking otherwise.
No,
mostly to the machine, but yes.
I don't think electrically you're not going to hurt the system. Not electrically, because it's running off a DC 12 volts. It's nothing that amount, but insurmountable power. But it's more that you're going to, in order for it to re-examine and re-identify all the hardware, it has to go through a boot sequence. And that's your computer's responsibility. When you first turn on the power, it goes through its post. power on self-test, and it starts analyzing. I got a keyboard, I got a drives, hard drives, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Going through
Okay.
its bootstrap.
Yeah. Well, modern UEFI skips the post, but this may be an old enough machine.
Okay.
It is old, yes. Should I get out of Revo and come back into it and see if there's anything here?
No, you're done with that.
You're done with Revo.
Okay.
The only thing I might do is follow it up with CCleaner or something.
All right.
You know, do their registry cleanup. You know,
Yeah.
there
Yeah,
might be some other garbage.
I'll do that.
I would reboot that system. I'd shut it down, pull the power, reboot, reinstall with your DVD player in place, and then try it there. If this does not work, you have another underlying issue that's going on, and it could very well be a compatibility issue. Windows does take out things. They do step on products. There's a lot of I don't want to call them associated programs that used to work that no longer do. It could be way C++ works, or something like C+, or some other programming language had other stuff installed. Bob?
No.
Oh,
I was saying you never know.
You never know what it is.
I was going like this.
And I've been fighting things too where I cannot figure out why a program used to work on a machine and now it doesn't, no matter what I do. I cannot get this program to work anymore. And basically it runs on other machines, but it won't run on that one particular machine. Don't know why.
Well, I do in part support exactly what you said, Sanford. But see, the thing is, without any kind of notification of taking old modules like the C++ support files, your .NET stuff, DLLs, they don't put them in an archive that you can access for old software to make those programs continue to work. They just delete them. They're gone forever.
Right.
Every time I get an update, to a newer version on Windows 10, I've got an old HP laser printer, and it they don't have a print driver for that out in HP. So I went to YouTube and I found that it told you to use a different version. And every time I get that update, I have to go in and remove the printer and reinstall it with that new, laser printer driver. Now it's working again.
What model HP printer was it?
It's a 1012.
I've got a 1300, and it's been working since 2000 when it was manufactured.
Well, this one works.
Yeah,
It's
I
just
mean
that
the driver, everything. I somewhere along the line I got a universal driver for that, and I've installed it. I've never had to do any kind of changes to it. It just keeps on working even on 11.
the problem I get is whenever I get an update.
Are you guys still hearing him? I
Yeah.
can't hear anybody.
It's when I get that update, that's when it wipes it out.
I've never had mine wipe out. Like I say, once I got the universal driver for my 1300, it works like a champ, and I have had absolutely zero issues. Going back to XP, Vista, 7, 8, 10, and now 11.
Well, I've got the driver I use works now, but it's for a different model. It's for like a 3055.
Not the universal driver.
No,
Yeah, I bet that's a difference.
but I found it on YouTube.
Well, YouTube doesn't have drivers.
No, but the video.
They
Somebody
just
showed you how
directed
to do
them.
that.
They just directed them on something that might work as a
Yeah.
substitute.
Right.
Okay, anybody have any other comments?
I only have another question.
What?
And the main thing is that sure, this print artist does work on the laptop. I'd rather have the larger screen working on it. It does have the larger screen does have a USB port. Could I possibly plug the USB of the larger screen into the laptop?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay, well, if I have trouble with getting this thing to work, I could at least get the larger screen to work for me on the laptop.
Does the laptop have an HDMI port?
No, it has a
No.
VGA port.
Oh, it's a VGA? Okay, well, they do make VGA to HDMI adapters.
Yep.
And I mean, if you can't get it to work on a USB, and I don't know, I've never used a monitor through a USB port. You could just go get a HDMI to USB. No, HDMI to VGA.
See, that's an older system and an older monitor, and I'm pretty sure it's a VGA only monitor. I'm not aware of one with a USB port like you're talking about, but in general, the VGA cable that from the monitor that goes into the desktop, you can disconnect that and probably connect it to the VGA port on the side of the laptop. And then you have a function key and a F key that switches what screen am I displaying on. And you can have the internal built-in laptop screen, the external only, both screens. That's your option.
Okay.
Yeah, do a
That
search,
might be the
do a
F7.
search for dual monitors.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
All right, with that, I'm going to stop recording.
Recording